Hi everyone, it's Sandy. Thank you for joining me here on my channel. I have made a really fun project here that I want to show you. I have a lot of papers in my stash, so I haven't bought any new papers. I wanted to just use what I have and just have fun playing with the papers that's been piling up in my craft room. And so I decided to make some sort of folder where I can add some of my bits and pieces in here. And so what I made here is a shabby theme tri-fold folio folder, and I love how it turned out. There are a lot of tuck pockets in here and places where you can store all of your paper pieces, photos, ephemera, anything you like. This would also make a great gift for a crafty friend to add your goodies if you wanted to send some of your paper pieces. And I just wanted to show you what I made, and I'll show you the inside, and then I will do the tutorial for you if you also wanted to make one of these really fun tri-fold folio folders. So the paper that I use for this collection, I think, if I'm not wrong, it may be discontinued. I'm not sure, you may still be able to find it somewhere online, but it's the Die Cuts with a View 12 by 12 double-sided paper, and it's the Floral Couture collection. It's a beautiful papers, and it is sort of medium to heavyweight thickness, so it is not your lightweight paper. And so there is a lot of folding in this folio, but it still turned out lovely. So if you're using more of the lightweight scrapbook papers or your digitals or whatever you have, it'll work just as nice. But I'll just show you the bulk of it, and there is still room to add more things in here if you wanted to. I just threw in a few bits and pieces in here just to show you what you could add in here and maybe give you a bit of inspiration. So this is the front. I didn't do a lot of embellishing because I like the floral in the front here. And if you wanted to keep it closed, you can add a belly band around it, add some lovely trim, and just sort of wrap it around and then tie a lovely knot. But it's still pretty fine, like this is not sort of lifting up. And then I just cut one of the cutter parts from the same collection and just added to the front, and then I kind of overhang it on the side here in case I wanted to punch a hole here and add some dangles. And then I just added this really lovely, this is a hair clip that I've made, and I thought this would be a nice little, another way to use as a paper clip. And I'll just show you some more that I made here, and I've got a little pearl dangle on the bottom, and just to add a little more accent to the clip. And I'm going to make more of these and add these into my Etsy store, and then I decorated it with some of my little lace trim just to make it more dainty. And they're just really lovely. I thought that's just a great way to use this instead of a paper clip. And I thought that's just a nice way to decorate the front. And let me just open the inside. So this is the first part of the tri-fold. And I've got here a vellum window tuck pocket down here. And I've just added some of these extra little pieces that I had laying on my desk. And I thought that was perfect to tuck in here. So you can add some of your smaller tags, ephemera pieces, or whatever you like. And I've just made that into a window front. And I'll also show you how I've done that here in this tutorial. And there is a nice large opening side tuck pocket here. And I thought I'll see what I could fit in here that's got a bit of bulk. And so this is one of my other projects I've made a while back. It's supposed to have some string here, but I've taken it off. And that was just to keep it closed. But it opens up this way, and there I made a little tuck pocket here. And then it opens up like that, and there are 4 side tuck pockets. And I made this as another idea for you to store some of your small ephemera pieces or stickers, postage stamps, or anything like. And then at the back is another pocket here. And I really like this cute little ephemera holder. So it stores quite a few fun stuff. Anything that's higher and taller, you can add that to the back, and then it looks nice picking up at the top here at the back. And so there's a few bits and pieces in here, and you can fit that in there. nicely if you wanted to make one of these. I'll put the link down below to this video, and I think I also made this using a 12 by 12 double-sided paper as well to make one of these, if I'm not wrong, and I'll see if I can find that video for you. But it's a great ephemera holder. So that's that one. And then over here is the back of the next part of the trifold folder. And this is another cut apart from the 12 by 12 collection. And all I've done was cut it out and then create it into a tag shape, and then glued the two sides here to make a tuck pocket. So that goes there, and I just had one of these tags and popped that in there just so you could see the pocket. And then it opens up this way, and then this becomes the sort of trifold folder, because it opens up once, twice, and then you've got another middle pocket. And so this here is an envelope style pocket that I put in the front of this center top pocket, and I used some crochet string. And if you wanted to add a string here to close the envelope part, you can use any trim, ribbon, anything you like. It was just a way that I needed to keep this part closed and flat. But you can leave it if you don't want to add a string to close it. And I'll show you how I put that together. And then inside is the envelope shape with some more of these cut aparts. And this is one of my digitals that I have, and I just cut this out and just corner around at the corners. I had a bit of scrap from the collection, and so I just thought I'd make that to put in here just so you could see. So then it closes up like that, and then this is your closure to close the envelope. And then behind there is another pocket, and cutting another part of the 12 by 12 cut apart piece. So I'll place that in here. So that goes at the back. So it's a good place to add maybe a note card at the back there if you wanted to. And you can add some letters or anything you want in this pocket. Then at the back is another pocket. So that's your pocket here at the back. Now it doesn't look like there's a nice opening, but this is, let me show you. This is another one of my projects I made not too long ago. And it opens up this way, and there is a pocket here, and that flips up, and I added a piece of vellum that flips up to another pocket with some more ephemera pieces. You can see here there was a few pieces here, and there is that pocket for that. So I'm just showing you how much thickness and bulkiness you can add into this trifold. So there's a lot of layering in that. And that was still enough to fit in here like that. So you can fit a small mini flat journal or a daily journal or a weekly journal or a planner in there. That can also go this way, just depending on your width or your height. You know, that can go in there like that as well. So there is, so you can see there is room for a little bit of bulk. I like it this way because I like the pattern peeking up. So that was a nice way to tuck that in there. And then on this side is another side pocket, and I made a little mini journal. So this is, let me take this one out first. And so I placed a little file tab ephemera folder in here, which I also had done a video on this. So there is a little front pocket here in the front. Let me grab this out. I'm gonna grab this piece. So there's a pocket in here, and then there is also a little pocket here in the front for small tags or anything you want in here that you want to tuck in there, and then opens up this way. And this would also make a lovely cover for another journal if you wanted to add some pages in here. This is a perfect little journal cover. Got a little pocket there, and then you can staple or stitch your pages in here. Then you've got this pocket. So that was a nice size to fit in there. And then this is, I made this similar to one that I made just recently, and it was from a project in one of my other videos, and it was this one, and it opens up like that, and then there's a pocket there, and that just sort of slides out, and there is a pocket there. Actually, hang on a second. Oh yes, so it's not actually this part, it's this piece here that I took the same style from to make this, and I did a video on how to make one of these just recently. So I wanted to make another similar one for this part, but I added some pages in here to make it into a little mini journal. So this is the same one, and then it opens up like that, where it's a nice little spot to do a little bit of journaling or just document something, or for some dates that you want to remember. And then at the back is another pocket where I've made a little mini file tab, and I use my mini We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board to make this little mini file tab folder, and that fit in there. And then on the inside are the little pages that I've made using some of my not so good tea stain paper that I wasn't happy with, but I thought I'll just place them in here as a sample to show you. So this one didn't have it, it just sort of opens up like that for the quote, and then all I'd done was added the pages in here and stapled it to the folded part. So I thought that was a cute little journal piece, so I'll put that in there. Just take that out, got the pocket stuck, so that just slides in there like that. And then that goes in there. So let me just show you. And we just move all of this out of the way. And I'll just show you the inside. So there is that tuck pocket there. And then you've got a pocket there. There is an envelope style pocket here, a back pocket there, a top loading pocket, and a side pocket here. And then I also made a extra pocket here in the front, just using one of the cutter parts. So a lot of places to store all your bits and pieces, and I think it's a fun little, well, it's not little, but it's I think it's a reasonably not a bad size tri-fold folder, folio folder, and lots of places to store everything. So that is how it looks like, and that's the back. So let me show you how to make one of these. You're going to need a few pieces of papers. And so what I done was I did add, for this project, I did stick a post-it note just so you could see the measurements clearly. So let me start with the larger size. This is this part here. This is this middle back pocket. So just ignore the envelope. It's this pocket here. And if you've got directional paper and you want to use that as your middle pocket, just making sure your direction pattern is facing the correct way. So you want to cut that at 6 inches by 9 inches. And that's for the middle top pocket. So that's that measurement. And then you'll need another two pieces. And that is going to be for this tri-fold part that's overlaps. That's the front cover, and then that's the side. And you're going to need 2 of those cut at the same size. So I've got 2 here, and you want to cut 2 of those at 4.5 inches by 9 inches. And that's 2 of those. You want another piece, and I'll just show you that. But this way you'll know what papers are going where in case you want to decide what papers you want to use. This piece is going to be your closure part of your envelope. This part here, so you can have an idea what papers you want to use. And you want to cut that at 5.5 inches by 3 inches. And then you have the bottom part of the envelope, and that piece you want to cut that at 6 inches by 2.25 inches. And then you have this little window tuck pocket. If you wanted to add that on, you don't have to. If you do, you want to cut a small piece at 2.5 inches long ways by 2 inches. Then you'll want a little piece of vellum. A piece of vellum if you want to create a window with your circle punch. I have a 1.5 inch circle punch. You can use that size, or you can use a 1 inch circle punch. Most of us would probably have a 1 inch, so that would still work nicely. And then you want to cut a piece of vellum or tracing paper enough to cover the window around, oops, can you see it, around the window part, and enough for you to glue around it. So make it a little bit bigger than the size of the circle that you're going to punch out. So these are all the pieces you're going to need to make the trifold folio. It's probably best to make a sample first with your not so nice papers, to just have a go with it before you use your nice papers. And the last thing you want is to make a mistake and then you feel sad about it because you use your good papers. I tend to make my samples with my not so good papers first, and then I'll use my nice papers to make it. All right, so what we're going to do first, we are going to make the middle pocket first. So this is this piece. Sorry, my thing keeps moving. Camera, okay. So that is this piece. Just put that to the side. And we're just going to simply fold this in half on the 6 along the 9 inch side. We're just going to fold it up like that. So we're going to just fold that in half, or you can use your scoreboard. Let's just fold this up. I'll just do it this way. So now you have that. And so the height will be 4.5 inches by 6 inches. I'm just going to grab my scoreboard. And you can use single-sided paper as well. You don't have to use double-sided paper if you don't want to. Now we've got these two pieces that will cut the same. 4.5 inches by 9 inches. So I'm going to just bring this. Right, so when you have your two that you have cut the same, decide which one you want as your cover, and I'll just show you here. This is going to be my cover, and I'm going to use this piece as my cover. So this is going to be facing the front, and then this piece is going to be this one that's on the inside part. So you just want to also, if you're using double-sided paper, just decide which one you want facing the front here. And in my case, I'll do it the same, and I'm going to have this one facing there. So it's sort of going to look like that. That will go on the bottom, then that's going to go on the top. So let's go and score these first. Now I'm going to score first the cover. And we're going to line that on the 9 inch side. So the cover's facing up, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. Let me see that, 1/2 inch. And 6 inches. Right, the cover is done. Now we've got the piece that's on this side that's overlapping, and so I'm having that facing up. So I'm just going to flip that around that way, and then on the 9 inch side do the same, and scoring it at 1/2 inch and 6 inches. All right, so I'm just going to make it easy. We're just going to bring this and place that on the top for now. And this piece, we'll just put that in the middle. Let's just do that first. I just think this might be easier for you as a step-by-step, so it's not confusing. So I'm just thinking, shall we... Let's do this and then we'll grab the scoreboard out in a second, just so you don't get confused. Let's make this tri-fold fold apart first. Okay, so we're going to grab the cover and we're going to fold the score lines over. Actually, before we do that, this part here that we scored at 1/2 inch, let's just angle cut that in a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, so we're just going to do that. And then we're going to corner around this side. If you wanted to corner around that, I think it just decorates that a little bit. Let's corner around this side. And now what we'll do, let's fold this piece over to the back. So that is where that piece looks like. And then we've got this score line, we're going to fold that to the back as well. So I'm going to turn it this way. So that is the way it will look. Let's just put that to the side there. And then let's just move that there for now. And then this piece here, we have that 1 inch score line here, 1/2 inch score line, sorry. We'll do the same with that and create that little angle cut going in that way. All right, there. And then corner around this side as well. And then we're going to fold this in. Oh, actually what I should have done was, I shouldn't have cornered around with that corner. Actually, sorry, I made a mistake, but it doesn't really matter. Let me just make a little point here. I've got a bit carried away. You can corner around that corner if you wanted to have the same kind of pocket here on this side. So if you want two of these sort of open pockets, you can do that on this side. But I wanted to do it this way. So I hope if you corner around that part, sorry, I got carried away. What we're going to do first, let's just fold this in. So I can show you what I mean. It's still okay because that's going to go there. So you can still have that if you want to make that a pocket. But what I wanted to do was create one of these half circle and make it into a complete side tug pocket. So what I should have done, but I think that's still not too bad. Let's just use this circle punch. So I'm just going to do that. So there is that, but that's okay. So that is going to be this part. It's actually not too bad with that there. Now then that's going to look like that. So these two will be facing side by side, and then these two are like that. This is the middle part that's going to get placed in there. So let's make the folio cover first before we add the extra pieces. Now if you want, you can create a notch here if you wanted to. That's that pocket at the back. That's if you wanted to do that now. But now what we'll do here, we are going to add glue. We'll glue this piece down first. Let's glue this piece down so it's not flapping around, and all I'm going to do is just simply gluing this bottom part down here only. And if you wanted to keep it more secure, you don't want this open, you can close this up and add glue here so you've got a top pocket. So you can decide how you want your pocket there to look like. I like to just add it at the bottom in case I have more bulky things I want to add to it. Gives me more room. So now I've got myself the pocket there. And I'm going to do the same for this one and glue this one down, and to do this one I'm going to add glue to the top there and the bottom to create that side pocket. So with these two folded pieces, you can decide how you want your pocket to look like. I just thought I would change them up and do two different kind of pockets. Okay, now just glue there on the top. And the bottom. Now we can seal that off, and that will give me a side pocket. So they're the two pockets done. What we'll do now is we're going to grab this piece and we're going to glue here, but don't glue all the way to the fold. I'm just going to glue up this edge and just keep it away from the fold line. So just gluing probably about just halfway in. So about that there. You can see I didn't go right to the fold. I'm going to open this up. And then I'm going to place that. Actually, let's add glue to this side as well, so then it's ready. Do the same here, only glue halfway from the inside only. And then what we want to do is we want to place that part on the front in here. Now, so what you want to do is that fold line, keep it just a little bit off the edge, just a tiny bit. The reason why we're doing that is so that this part can open and close. So just allow a tiny bit of room away from this edge with this fold line. I'll show you what I mean once we adhere this. Just a little bit away to the back. So when you bring this up, this has room to open and close, like so. So there's room, and then at the back, it's going to come out a little bit here, which I like. I don't mind that. I like that you can see a bit of the pattern here on the back. So you're going to have a little bit of that sticking out, which is perfectly fine for me. So now we've got all that glued in there now. So then, now you've got the pockets. Now we can glue the front up, and that will give us that top pocket there. And you can create a notch here if you wanted to do that. And now what we do on the inside, we're just going to add glue along this edge and along this side. And that will close it up and give us that top deep pocket. So let's see, that will fold in and that will fold to the front, and that's my cover. And then you've got your three pockets. So with this part, which is this side, you can do the same and just cut a piece of a paper at whatever size you like and place it wherever you like to create a pocket. And what I've done here was I just glued the two sides and made this into a corner pocket. You can add an envelope to the front, so you've got somewhere to add more stuff in there. You could leave it alone. You can add two side pockets. There's a lot of ways you can play around with this plain base part of this side. So I'll leave that for you to decide however you would like to play with this part. But we're going to go ahead and let's add this little piece first. And this is this one here with the little vellum or tracing paper, and this piece cut at 2.5 inches by 2 inches. I already corner rounded this corner, which is up to you if you wanted to do that. And then I'm going to grab my 1.5 inch circle punch, just sort of try and get that centered as best I can. What I normally have done was, let me show you what I've done. This is, I just punched out a piece of paper with the circle punch, and then I added a bit of double-sided tape to the back, and I use this as my guide as where I want it centered or where I want to place the circle frame. So I'm going to put it there like that. Then I'll bring this on top, and that will help me then know where I want to punch it. So I've got that, and then I've got this piece, which you can use that, which I might use that in a minute to add a little tag, so I'm not wasting it. And then I'll just glue around the inside of the edge of the circle. Grab the vellum, and I'm just going to glue all 4 sides on the edge. And just drop it in. It's giving me a window. Cute. Now I can place this on this side here, like that. Or you can put it on this side if you wanted to. You just make, you can decide where you'd like to put that. And I'll do the same and just add glue to the side and the bottom. And that will complete that side of the trifold. Sorry, I'm just trying to grab this glue out. So now I have that window side pocket. I've got that. I've made the top loading pocket done. That's all done there. And then the side on the other part. So we've got all that finished. And all we've got left to do is to make the envelope part in the front. And that's these 2 pieces. So this part here, that's at 6 inches by 2.25 inches. That will be the bottom. I'm actually going to go this way. That's going to be the bottom of the envelope. And then this piece at 5.5 inches by 3 inches is going to be the closure part. And we're going to need to score these 2 pieces. I'm just going to grab my little scoreboard. And we'll just grab the longer piece first, which is the 6 inch length. And all we're going to do here is on the 6 inch side, we're just going to score at 1/4 inch on 3 sides, which is pretty basic. I think most of us know how to do this part of the pocket. And then you probably can't see the score. I'm just going to angle cut these 2 corners at the bottom where the score lines cross over. And also up here. And then I'm just going to fold them back. And we just got to do one other little step first. Now this piece at the 5.5 inch side, you want to just trim a little tiny piece of it off. just a little tiny bit, probably less than 1/8 of an inch, and I'll explain why. So on the 5.5 inch side, just trim off, I mean, yeah, maybe about 1/8 of an inch, if that. So all I've done was trimmed off a little tiny piece like that for now, and I'll explain why. So this is the pocket that's going to go here in the front. It's going to go in the front, the bottom, down the bottom here. And then this is your closure. And the reason why I trimmed that back down, because you want that to sort of hug inside this part here where we've made those two side folds. You want it to sit inside it like that. So when you trim it, just sort of trim it so that it's enough, so that there's enough room to slide in and out. So that's just wanted to point that one out. So we've got that. Now we're going to also make a score line for the closure part. And so in this case, this is going to be the part that's going to be this part. And I'm going to have that facing to the left. Just lost my scoring tool. So we're going to score that on the 3-inch side. We're going to score it at 1 inch. And that's all the scoring there. So I'm just going to fold this over for now so you can see. So you can see what I mean. Move this now. So what we're going to do is that's going to go on the inside where we've made those score lines, and that's going to go on the top like that. You can see. So that's going to go on the inside like that. And that will get glued down like that. So I'm going to corner round the part where we scored at the 1 inch for the closure. So you know that that's the closure part, and that's going to go at the back. And we do that. Now if you wanted to add the string like I have here, I'm just going to use a crochet string. I'm not going to use anything, any trim. Let's first, what we'll do is, I'm just going to cut a length that I think is going to be enough. So, and then if I want to shorten it, I'll shorten it. So let's just put that in there, allowing enough for you to tie it up. Just going to place that there. And then we're going to glue this down. Let me just see. Okay, so let's glue down the bottom part of the envelope. And you can just place it as far down as you want. I'm just going to place it about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. Just checking that I have enough string. And then just centering it all on the side. Press that all down. And then you've got your closure, and with your closure, when you slide that in, you can go as high. So I've made it so that you've got enough room to play with on how high you want the envelope to be. So for example, if you have like 3x4 cards or anything bigger, maybe put that in there first, and then you can work out where you want to create the fold so that it keeps it closed. Now I like how it has this gap between the bottom of the envelope and the closure. I think that sort of makes it pretty, and it's just nice to be able to have a little peek through what's inside. You can close it all the way completely and go all the way down and make it into a slim envelope. So you just decide, play around with how high you want it, and then we're going to also create that back pocket. And so to do that, all we're going to do is add glue only to the two sides only at the back, so I'm just going to put a bit of glue there, and then also on this side. And then we're just going to gently place that in and decide how far down you want to go without touching the back first, otherwise you'll get glue where you don't want it. And just make sure that's in the middle. So let's just use this as my guide for me. So I'm just going to have it about there. I'll go down a bit. So I'm happy with that there, just straightening it up, making sure it's nice and straight. Glue down the two sides. Then you have yourself a closure. And then you can also decorate the ends of your trim with some beads, some dangles, or in my case, all I done was punch out using my heart punch, and I punched out 2 of each and then just backed them up onto the string. That's to stop it from coming out of the envelope from the back. And then that's all there is to that. And then you just have yourself that pocket there. And then we've got that pocket now at the back. Okay. There's your opening. And then these 2 side pockets, as well as this one here. And then you can make another pocket here if you like, or leave it how you want to do that. And that's the cover. That's the cover. So this was a fun project. I think it's a great interactive trifold folio folder. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you also have a go at making one of these. And if you do, please share it with me on Instagram if you have Instagram, and hashtag Septeria18 so I can be notified that you've also made one, because I would love to see your projects as well. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.